We are The Table, and we are so glad that you have taken time out of your week to join us. Here at The Table, it is our hope to move you forward in life and faith over the course of this message. At The Table, we do things just a bit differently. We pose questions in real time, and we want to give you some time to wrestle with those questions as well. Again, thanks for joining us, and we hope that this message moves you forward.
All right, good morning. Wow, I really cannot see anybody. That's kind of sad. I'm sure y'all look great. My name is Katie, and I'm so glad that you are here this morning. And if this is your first time, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here at the table. We like to celebrate here, so can I just get a round of applause for what God is doing in your life? Like, can we get excited about the way that he's showing up in your everyday life? Like, the fact that you woke up today and you drove your car here and now you're here, like that is something to celebrate, right? There is breath in our lungs. We have life before us, life ahead of us, and let's not waste it today, right? Let's not just sit and waste it because he nailed our sin to that old rugged cross. Isn't that beautiful? So we've been in this series called Between Two Trees, looking at the life of Jesus. And we started at his death, and we're working our way backwards, right? And so in week 1, we talked about the death, right? And the sacrifice that was made for you. And that was made so that you could step into who he has created and called you to be. And there is a sacrifice that you make, dying to yourself when you say yes to Jesus. And so then in week 2, backwards, yes, week 2. Man, I don't know why I'm struggling with this concept of working backwards, but week 2, the fruit. So we looked at Jesus' life and all that he did, right? And then he cursed the fig tree, all the things, right? But he has higher expectations for us than we could even imagine. We can even begin to step into. And so just know that Jesus is relentlessly pursuing you. Always. Always, always, always relentlessly pursuing you. And so this week, we're going to be looking at the process. We're going to be looking at his development stage in life, which isn't really talked about, but I think it's a really important phase. And one that we need to understand because it's about the process. And we need to learn to fall in love with the process. And so I want to read in Luke 2, verse 52. It says, "And Jesus grew in wisdom and in stature, and in favor with God and man." It's just a glimpse. This is just one sentence in an entire chapter where it talks about Jesus as a young boy, learning from other people and having conversations. And so today I've entitled the message, "The Shoot." Okay, now I'm not a tree expert. I know nothing about trees. Okay, but apparently Between Two Trees, get it? So we're talking all about trees. So I had to hop on Google, and I was like, okay, well, the shoot. Typing in Google, right? And so then you see something like this. It's a branch. Duh. Hello, idiot Katie, come on. And so it is a branch, but it is not a fully developed branch. You note that? It's cute, it's green, it's little, and it's growing. But here's the thing with shoots. They have to reach a certain point in order to produce the fruit. You tracking with me, right? So last week we talked about the fruit that's already produced. But now we're talking about the processing phase. And everything has to go right in order for a shoot to reach its full potential. It has to grow, it has to develop, it has to have the right weather around them, all of the things, right? And so, how does that connect to us? When I was in high school, I took a lovely speech class, okay? I hated it. Hated speech. I remember the speeches that I gave because I'm a psychopath and I can quote things that I said and I relive in my head like a psycho person. And then I'm like, why did you say that? That was so stupid. And so in my freshman? I don't know what year it was. But in my speech class, I did not enjoy that time in my life. I didn't enjoy the getting in front of classmates, being embarrassed, all the things that come with being a high school student. I see a lot in here. What's up? Shout out to my high schoolers. How's it going? So anyway, back to my speech class. So in that, sitting in that class, never did I think that I would be doing this, right? I didn't realize that I was in a process, a learning process, developing that would later somehow come back into my life, right? And I remember the first time that I ever got up here and shared what God was laying on my heart. And I had a piece of gum in my mouth because I'm an amateur, right? It's my first time up here. And so I get done, and I'm standing out in the thing, and somebody walks up, and they're like, "You did great, but next time make sure you don't have a piece of gum in your mouth." And I was like, "Okay, I'll make sure that never happens again. Sorry." Right? And so what ended up happening, and is still happening to this day, as I'm in a college writing class that's still helping me develop and learn and grow, just like Jesus had to grow in wisdom and in stature, in his knowledge and in his character, who God created him to be, right? We're in a process. We're in a growth phase, just like a shoot. And it's really about the life that you live right now. It's about the life that's right before you in this very moment. And I love the power of words. Words are so incredibly powerful. You see, this journey is about the way that you develop, the way that you inspire, the way that you create, the way that you mess up, the way that you fail, the way that you excel, that you exceed. That's what we're doing right now. That's the life that's right in front of you. But here's the thing. Jesus wants to use those very things, your process, your growth, to showcase a beautiful story to the world around you. The people in your life need to see that you are learning to love the process that you're living right in front of you. And so here at the table, we like to talk during the talk. So I have a question for you. And you see, I don't know where you are in your process. I don't even know if you view life as a process, or that you're growing, or that you're learning anything. So I want to ask you, do you feel like you've got it all down? You're dying to yourself. You're bearing fruit. Do you feel like that's where you are? Or maybe you feel stuck, like there's no clear direction in your process whatsoever. You're just stagnant, and there's no forward movement. Or maybe you're just lost, and you've given up on the process. You've given up on the life that's right before you, that you can step into. And so I just want to encourage you to really sit with this. And you can turn to those around you, or you can text somebody if you don't like to talk to anybody. But something happens when we can be honest with where we are in the process. And so I want to encourage you to talk about that for 2 minutes, probably less than that. And then we'll come back together, and we'll move this thing forward. And I'm glad that you're talking about something that's very vulnerable in your life and sharing that, because there's power in that. There is a new staff expectation here at the table, and I love it. Kind of love it. It's a love-hate thing, but it's good. It's good. I promise. And it is face the facts and own the results. Face the facts and own the results. And for me, the reason that it's a love-hate thing is because it forces you to own where you're not doing what you know you should be doing, or all of those things, and or where you should improve in your life, right? And so for me, if I can kickbox all I want. I love kickboxing, like a lot. But if I don't actually eat more than one meal a day, I'm actually not going to feel good. Like, I can't kickbox for an hour on one meal a day. That's not healthy, right? And so in that, I'm facing the facts and I'm owning the results. And it's in this practice where you can experience some freedom. Because you're owning that you don't actually have it all together and that you're still in process. You're still growing. You're still learning. And so I want to address a problem that I think that we all struggle with. And that is that every single day in our lives, we become more obsessed with the results than we do with the process. When you log on your Facebook page, or you watch the news, or you have a conversation with somebody, you're only hearing everyone's results. Where this family went on vacation, where they just scored their new job promotion that they have been working extremely hard for. But they don't show you that. They're just like, hey, look, got the job. It's great, right? You see your family friends who are buying their kids cars. You see their kids achieving things, right? And then you're constantly looking at these results that are right in front of your face every single day when you pick up this trusty thing that I didn't bring up here, your telephone, right? It's in your face every single day. And on a larger scale, you look at celebrities that we do this to, right? We see their results, but we don't know what they do. Like, you don't know what actors did to get to where they are. You only see their results. So then we draw this false perception of, well, if my results aren't that, then what am I doing wrong? If my kids aren't doing what those kids are, how do I help my kids? Like, what do I do? I want my kids to be better, right? So then we end up building this false sense of security. We find security in producing results that are really just unattainable, to be honest. I love basketball. Big basketball gal. Bet you didn't see that coming. Anyway, so there is a family called the Ball family. Some of you may know Lonzo Ball is playing for the Chicago Bulls right now. Woo-woo! All right? And then there's two other brothers. There's Melo Ball and there's Jello Ball. Now, the only reason I know all this is because when we were locked away forever in our houses, I got on Facebook and I started watching this family's little Facebook show. And for some reason, I just got really into it and got lost in it. I don't know why. But anyway, here's the thing. Their father, LeVar Ball, is kind of controversial. He's a little intense. He understands that you have to fall in love with the process before you can get to the results. He had a process for his boys to get to where they are. Now they're all three playing in the NBA. But here's the thing. One of his sons, Jello, I think it was last year, was overseas and he ended up stealing something and getting caught in a foreign country. And then he went to prison in a foreign country. And so you see Jello wanted the results of his brother Lonzo Ball, who was already playing in the NBA. But he made a choice and was like, I'm going to go for the thing I want right now in the moment and forget about the process that I've worked so hard right now to achieve to get to where I am. Now, all's well, Jello's playing in the NBA. Woohoo! Go Jello, right? So, but here's the thing. When we focus on the results, we end up missing the process that we're supposed to fall in love with. And what ends up happening when we do that is we miss out on the people and the opportunities that are right in front of us. One thing that has taught me over the last 2 years is our young people. Sorry if I get emotional. This is really exciting for me, and so I get emotional when I talk about this stuff. But I want you to know that there's something happening in this church in the lives of young people. There is something happening that is inspiring and that is empowering because they are learning that it's about their process. Right? We're told our entire lives that growth should look like this. If I just keep doing good, I'll make it here. If I just do this, if I just work and get more money, I'll be here. And then if I marry this person at this age and have this many children, I'll be here. Okay, right? You see this. This is the lie that we're told about what growth is. This is the process that we see all around us when we're looking at results. We only see people excelling and succeeding, right? But really, in reality, what growth looks like is, oh, remember when I said that stupid thing and then I ended up here, but then I apologized, so then I went back here, and then we grew a little bit more, and we did this. Oh, and then we did a little woo, 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 woo. Oh, look at the mess, right? But this is the process. And it's in this mess where Jesus does his best work for you to make the maximum impact in the kingdom of God. And so back to my young friends that are literally, I don't even know. Praise be to God. It is so good to see and to hear that kids are realizing that a tangible relationship with Jesus is right in front of them, that they can step into it, that they can lean into it and grow into it. I sat across from a girl yesterday in a coffee shop, and she said, I feel like my life has purpose, and I never want to go back. Friends, she's a junior in high school. When I tell you that God is doing something in the lives of young people from my age all the way down to sixth graders who are reading their Bible because they know that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life in their life, and it's about the process. It's about them leaning into it, and it's about them discovering who God has called them and created them to be. I am so excited about young people. This is great, and I hope you're excited too. You see, there's a miracle that Jesus does. And I want to pay attention to the words that are said in this miracle. And it is in John chapter 2. On the third day, a wedding took place in Cana in Galilee. Jesus was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." And Jesus responds, "Woman," sorry, that's just funny to me. "Why do you involve me? My hour has not yet come." His mother said, "Do whatever he tells you." And they did so. The master of the banquet tested the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn it knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside. "Everyone brings the cheaper wine out after the guests have already had too much to drink, but you saved the best until now." What Jesus did in Cana in Galilee was the first signs through which he revealed his glory. But I want to go back to this because we focus on the miracle and we skip the part where he responds, "My hour has not yet come." You see, Jesus understands that he had to go through a process. Jesus never stopped growing. And the things that needed to happen in his life for him to develop in order to produce the fruit that God was calling him to produce, he understood the importance of falling in love with the process. And like any good process, there needs to be systems in place. I would change the word from maybe system to a rhythm. So I want to ask you today, what rhythms do you have in your life to make you aware of where God is stretching you, where he's growing you? What muscles in your character does he want to develop in you? There are things that we have to work on, that we have to develop before it's our time, just like Jesus is. And so don't miss it. And so I have 3 things that I want you to think about over the week as we enter into the Christmas real season. Like, I say real season as in the week of, whatever. Anyway, that's when it all gets exciting. So I just want you, actually, let me rephrase what I was just about to say. When I meet with students, I always tell them that their relationship with God is like a friendship. You don't just automatically know everything that there is to know when you open up the Bible and you read it. But there's a process. There's a system into getting to know somebody. You have to hang out with them. You have to spend time with them. And so, what I love about that is that we have skin in the game. We're not just innocent, like, we're not just sitting in the stands watching the game happen. In order for us to actually make the maximum impact in the kingdom of God, we have to be on the field playing the game. You can't just sit back and watch. And so my challenge is I want to ask you to commit to it. Commit to the process. Commit to falling in love with the process. Commit to falling in love where God has you right now. It may be painful. Growth is hard. Developing is hard. Messing up is hard. But there's a purpose in it. And you don't have to achieve X, Y, and Z before God uses you. Because he wants to use you here in all this chaos. And then the second thing I want to ask you to do is to remove the focus off the results. Stop looking at what everyone else is doing. Stop comparing yourself to where everyone else is. It is so easy to get on Facebook and just scroll and get lost. And so I just want to encourage you to eliminate the distractions. I don't know, maybe your kids are distracting. You can't really eliminate them, but like maybe call up a babysitter, send them off for a little bit so that you can stop and think about where in your life are you growing? Where are you seeing God do something in your heart? And if you don't see anything, that's not good. But hey, but face the facts and own the results. So what are you going to do about it? Right? And then the third thing I want to just say is just simply say yes. I don't know your stories. I don't know where you come from. I know some of you. I don't know all that goes on in your life. And maybe this whole God thing and faith thing isn't really on your radar or really important to you, and that's totally okay. And the fact that you're in this room is right where you need to be. But when you simply just say yes to learning to love the process in front of you, man, you're going to mess up, you're going to fail, you're going to fall flat on your face. But God uses it in huge ways. I have a girl who's actually serving. I didn't ask her for permission, so I'll ask her after this. Sorry. Hopefully she'll forgive me. But she's in the kids section right now serving. And she's a senior in high school. And she did something she regretted. And we were having a conversation about it. And then I said, hey, I really want you to actually meet with another girl and do this very thing that we're doing right now. And she's like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, I'm serious. That's what this is about. And she has begun to meet with her friend to go through the journey study that we do here at the table. And she said, I feel like Jesus is moving in my life more than he's moving in her life. I'm connecting with him more. I'm seeing him. And I'm trusting him with my life. I'm trusting him in the process, even though I don't have all the answers and I don't know fully if I'm doing this well or not. But I see him, and I see him moving in her life and in mine. And so there's beauty when we say yes to Jesus, and there's beauty when we say yes to learning to love the process right in front of us, when we commit to it. And so I just want to say thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being here this morning. And I want to encourage you that God is doing something in this space and in this church, and we want you to be a part of it. We want you to commit to it. We want you to remove the distractions. We want you to be here and seeing what God is doing in people's lives, because he is moving in this place. And so don't miss it. Please don't miss it. Please don't miss it. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And so I'm going to pray and close this out, and then y'all can be dismissed. Hey, God, thank you so much for how big you are. Thank you for the way that you care enough about our development. Thank you that you care enough about our character, the way that we love people, the way that we speak to people, the way that we treat people, that you are willing to meet us in it and learn and grow with us. And so, God, I pray today that we would commit to that we would commit to the process, learning to love it and trust it. And God, I just thank you for your son. Thank you for the sacrifice. Thank you for his birth. And God, as we reflect on that, I pray that our hearts would be moved, inspired, and changed. Amen.
If this message challenged you and moved you forward, personally or in faith, we encourage you to share it with someone who needs a message of hope today. And if you're interested or looking for ways to partner with us in our mission here at The Table, head on over to thetablejoliet.org for more information.